So after Sullivan's Dog, it was our college years, and Dan recorded several albums after that, like around that time. I recorded solo albums too, but much later than that. 2002, and that was my first like full solo album, my first LP. It's a singer songwriter by myself, but yeah, Dan's albums during college uh, were mostly by himself. I played cello on some of those tracks, and electric guitar, and sang sometimes. But so there's AV Geek. He recorded AV Geek, and that was like a full length album. It was given to his friends by like on CD, and it has some interesting songs on it. It's hard to remember everything. He had a song about a year without Christmas. It sounded really sad, unfortunately. But yeah. So the other album or LP that Dan recorded besides AV Geek was the Blue Blood 3 Collective, The Art of Changing Hands. So the group name was Blue Blood 3 Collective. And that was also like a full length or LP release that he burned a CD and gave to his friends as well. And I later helped him put it, on YouTube as audio files. So I played in the album as well, and I wanted to talk today about the writing of the song "The Road to Orlando." So Dan wanted me to like co-write a song for the album because most of those tracks were him. And granted, like I taught Dan guitar as well. Like he started as a singer of our group, Sullivan's Dog, and by the end of our time there, when we were Forsake finally, when our name was Forsake, he was playing guitar with us because I started to teach him guitar. So he was one of my first guitar students then. But the song Birthdays for Bandits on the Blue Blood 3 album was like, it's Dan's song, but he borrowed the chords from a Led Zeppelin song that I had probably showed him. The Zeppelin song is That's the Way from 1970. Here's how it goes. I know how I'm gonna tell you I can't play with you no more. I don't know how I'm gonna do what Mama told me, my friend, the boy next door. So like the song that Dan came up with based on these chords is Birthdays for Bandits. So he just starts with a G. Take this, put it in the concave, pet it, and label it. And then yeah, the part that goes up to there. Oh, let it fill you up. Let it bring you down. And so, to explore the connection between those two songs' concepts is actually at a brilliant level of songwriting of Dan, because like the Zeppelin song is about an apartheid or separation of friends based on race. So that was my understanding of the song. Is two neighbors that are boys are just basically friends, and they can't talk anymore because of their races. They get separated by other people. And so my thinking is that Dan heard this, and his mind goes out to way out their extremes to think of like answers. He thinks of this brilliant like answer, like what if one guy on one side of the problem just takes his memorabilia and saves it. Okay, I had something like this happen to me. I realized what he was trying to say: take all the memorabilia, put it in the concave, put it in like what's it called, the trunk of my car. Today woke up a little bit the wrong side of the bed. Okay, so like the trunk of my car where the spare tire was, there's like a little thing you could put, like you could stuff something into it. it's that kind of idea to just take what's bothering you, or take all the brilliant stuff you thought of from that relationship and save it somewhere for a later time, so you don't disrupt things too much and get in trouble, basically. Um, also seemed to think like that Dan thought like my future smorgasbords were an issue. Um, and it's a different economic level than the other person, basically. So yeah, but okay, so that's birthdays for bandits. Another thing about that, sometimes people have like a psychiatrist who also doubles as a hypnotist or mesmerizes the patient into thinking that their birthday cake is bad for you, and so they cause you to mentally associate bad stuff with birthday cake. And once you undo like the hypnosis, you start to see like you see a vision of like a string of bullets wrapped around a cake and stuff. That stuff all like melded together, basically. And so I was in a room full of people, or a class, where many people might have been under that influence. And so the Birthdays for Bandits idea, it's a group that just had a party or a celebration together, and they end up distrustful of each other and in a separation where they can't talk like straight anymore. Okay, part of it could be due, like I said, that kind of psychiatry. But so there's that song. But then Road to Orlando basically was the song that Dan specifically requisitioned from me. I come up with stuff right away if someone asked for it. It was probably the day of, like, he was just telling me, okay, come up with the song. So I went in a separate room. I put down like the words, stay on the path to Orlando, stay on the old road, basically. And I just wrote all the words in one like sitting. Then I came up with the chords. And Dan like came up with the melody. He took my words, did a melody to the chords. He also thought the song was a movie idea about a group of like rural guys, misfits and like transients that start to travel together on the road towards Orlando, led by a lead character named Gerald, who thinks his answers are in Orlando, Florida, because he has a brochure showing Orlando as beautiful or good. And so he has this childlike naivete vision of going to Orlando. So he's on this quest with these people to travel to Orlando because they think it's the promised land. And they're walking by foot hundreds of miles from city to city. This is supposed to be a movie. And they're eating from dumpsters, so the movie's going to show them like eating from trash dumpsters and gathering things from dumpsters to get by. And then a guy dies along the way, and they're like, oh, at least this guy gets to rest now. I forget the exact line that Dan said or whatever. So let me do it quick. I'll Road to Orlando quick. Let's see if more comes to mind from it. The part that has like the stuff that's hedoa. It's what I later call Harnaleo. It's like it has a very non-Western sound. And my theory is the church theory that it's like a gift of tongues to gather together people that are supposed to be like church fellowship, but they can't relate to each other because of their language and culture. It happened, or I realized this like after a couple of misconnections somewhere along the way. I was trying to like, maybe I met a female somewhere or whatever. We didn't connect right. In my use of prophecy or tongues, I would start going hey, nah, hedo, because you're trying to church gather. It's trying to church gather, and Dan thought of this as like a guy rooftop calling and doing that kind of stuff. Well, it's church gathering. It's trying to bring together the brethren of different tongues. That's basically what I think that is. But I can't, since there's two vocal parts in the chorus, I can't do the Harnoleo. I can show it separately. So that's the Harnoleo part. So let's do it. Yeah. Let's start again. percussion we did live, like acoustic with pots and pans, I think, spare parts and stuff, yeah, silverware stuff. So it was supposed to be fun percussion for sure. Both Dan and I sang on that, the guitar. The chords are supposed to sound a little bit primitive. Or ignorant naivete, even though I knew things. Okay, so that's the story of the writing and recording of Road to Orlando. It was the 8th, I think, 7th or 8th track. The 7th or 8th track on that particular